Welcome back. We're on our final segment with Joseph Kimseng, owner of Change Store. Joseph, we're talking about the outlook now of the industry and the business that you are in. What are your views here?
Actually, the retail industry has been there for a long time, and usually it's always like a wave. It's up and down, up and down. Especially when there's a recession, the first thing people stop is to buy stuff, buy clothing. So it's always affected. And when it's time for, let's say, for tuition fees, so of course all the money goes to the schools. So the retail industry will also suffer. But it's been there. It's always been there. It will never go away.
Okay.
The only thing is right now there's a lot of new establishments, new malls opening. So you are getting more competition. So you have to have. That's why you have to be up from the rest. You have to change your image. You have to set up more branches maybe, and you have to look for potential spaces.
You're never considering getting into the big malls, right?
Yes. Right now, we're not getting into the big malls. We're getting more of being more personalized to the residents.
Yes.
So we are targeting posh subdivisions where the residents can easily go to us.
It is offering something that, because if the trend is for big malls, I mean, people start going to big malls, there will come a point in time wherein there's a limit to that because, like, for example, parking, traffic, and, some people, like, I know some people that when they get into the mall, they said, this is too much for me, this is too overwhelming, too many people, I feel suffocated.
A lot of our customers are feeling the same way. That's why they go to us, because they don't want to go to the crowded places. And then if they need something, they have to go to a birthday party. It's easy for them to just drop by and buy stuff and then go to the party.
So in other words, there is and there will always be a demand for this type of a service.
It's just a matter of looking for that location which is accessible to everybody. Right now, I could say BTC is good because we can cover from Paradise down to the end in Talamban, so a lot of residents there. And then JY here as well, because we have the Nivelle Hills and the Beverly Hills there. So, and then of course the neighboring subdivisions. I think it has to be, the location will play a big part. Because we had one store, I had to admit, we had to close down, although it's a nice location, but the foot traffic really is still very low because there's really very few people there yet.
Right.
And then, but we did not close our doors. Once they can, maybe the crowd will improve, we can go back. We really like that place as well.
So that's a good. There's a good future for the type of business that you're positioning yourself to be in.
Yes.
And at the same time, you also are. That's your only way that you'll be able to maintain and offer
because
good value to business partners.
Correct. Because the malls, like I said, the big malls, you have also higher overhead, and some of the people could not afford. Some of the new entrepreneurs would not be able to afford it. And then, aside from that, there's how many shops, let's say, for one of the big malls here, there's so many shops, there's so many competition in one building. And
instead of standing out, you get lost in the
that's why
forest.
There's so many people, right? Fine, so many people there. But then, how many of those will go to your shop? And unlike now, where we are now, when people go to that area, we know that they will also go to our shop because we're the only one there. So it's just a matter of the location and maybe the rates. Of course, the rental rates would be a big key.
Let's talk now about your views on wealth, Joseph. I mean, you're pretty much you're a pioneer in this area, and you're pretty much you've had a long track record there. How do you see yourself? I mean, in other words, what sort of legacy would you want to leave behind, or what lessons can you share with us so that we can pick up some of them and we can inspire
actually, we always
budding entrepreneurs?
we always look up at those successful businessmen, Kong Wei, whoever, Henry C. And of course, we always dream to be like them in the future.
Yes.
But the one that really encouraged me is the book of Robert Kiyosaki, the cash flow quadrant.
Yes.
You have these 4 quadrants. You have an employee, and then what's here, the self-employed, and then the businessman, and then the investor. So you want to be on this side. So that's the goal that you need to look at. But basically, the only key thing that will make you successful, one of the keys, I think, is your passion. You have to have. People will always ask me, what can you give advice? What advice can you give to us? I would say, do you like what you're doing? Is it really the business that you want to? Because some people just go into business. They have money, then they just go into business just for the sake of going into business, and then later on they close their stores. A lot of that happened because we have.
Actually, we see that happening every
yes,
day.
in chains alone, young people, they come and go because they just want to do business. They have money and they want to do business, and then they're not really feeling it. Once the business doesn't do well, then they give up.
So get into something
getting into
that
business,
you're passionate
especially
about.
especially here in the Philippines, it's so difficult to do business because of a lot of corruption and all those stuff here. And if you don't have the passion, you will easily give up. And doing business is not a bed of roses, so you have to encounter difficulties. And once that strikes, if you don't have the passion, normally people will give up. But if you have, then you really struggle to survive. Because you really like that. You really want to do that business.
Okay, what about the perspective of wealth? How much is enough? When is enough?
I think for me, financial freedom is that would once you're financially free,
Yes.
I think that would be enough. I don't know how I could measure that because right now I don't think I am financially free.
Yes.
So you still have to work hard, right?
Yes.
Maybe that time when you don't have to work, just sit down and do a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Then maybe that's the time you say, okay, this is enough.
I asked that question because we had in one of our chats you shared about your passion for collecting
Yeah.
Coke
Coke items.
items and
Yeah.
souvenirs and collectibles. And then you were telling me now that after having a collection of so much, three aparadors, all of these already, you're now thinking of letting go.
Actually, like I said, like what I mentioned to you, I'm already 50. So how many years do I have? And then, although right now I'm still collecting stuff, people still give me stuff, Coca-Cola, and I still like it. I still enjoy collecting the stuff. But then I was thinking, what will happen when I'm gone? What will happen with the collection?
Yes.
So that's why I say maybe just sell it or give it away, because there's other people who want your stuff. So then, good timing with the gospel on Sunday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that you're due to go. Then what will you do with your wealth here? So you cannot bring your wealth, so you just give it away. So I'm starting to think about doing that, but then deep inside, you still have that craving for collecting stuff.
Because
It's still nice to look at. Yeah, like I now have friends. I have a group of friends. In fact, in Facebook, we have what we call the Pinoy Coke fanatics. We're all Coke fanatics, and then we'll just say. In fact, we'll just post there. I really enjoyed the whole afternoon just looking at my collection, doing nothing. So there's really something there, because collecting stuff is also therapeutic. Maybe just like pets, you have this stuff, and then you just look at it, and then in fact cleaning them up.
But the good point in what you shared, or you're sharing with us right now, is that is not being attached to it.
Yeah, you shouldn't. It's really difficult. That's why that's that question now on the material thing.
Yes.
Right, and then the immaterial, meaning this definitely is material, and then of course being practical, you have to think about it. At our age, at my age, I don't have so much more, maybe years to keep this, and then might as well.
So you know when
detach yourself from
when
it.
to let go.
Yeah.
Speaking about that, because one of the things that I usually follow in the TV is the reality shows on the storage wars, on this, these things about collectors who end up, I mean, collecting so much,
Yes.
so much material stuff, and then they get old, and then they die, and then
They don't know what to
this stuff gets auctioned off.
Yes,
No?
that's still the same.
So this is of course a danger that we have to all avoid, and I'm glad that you're sharing with us that.
Yeah, although you enjoy, like when you're still here, you enjoy it, but then later, you have to start thinking, what will happen when you're gone? You cannot take them all, so you have to do something. Maybe let other people enjoy it. That's why in fact, right now we don't call secondhand. We don't use the term secondhand, right?
Yes.
We call them previously loved items.
Yes.
So these are previously loved items.
So there is some value.
There's some value, like me, I love those items, but then you give it away. So you can still sell it as a previously loved item. Then
And you want to
people
make sure that when you give it away, it's somebody who's going to appreciate it.
Yes, make sure the one who gets it is
Yes.
somebody. Good thing now, because I'm a member of PCF, Pinoy Coke Fanatics, so I have these friends who really would, younger ones,
appreciate-
who would really
appreciate.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
In fact, they're trying to tell me, can you sell me that clock that you have? I want to buy that. I said, later, I still love that clock.
Okay, Joseph. So we're already running out of time. I'd like you to leave the audience with some tips that you can share, some practical tips that you can share, so that when they start getting into their passions and eventually making it into a business, they'll have some lessons that they can pick up from you.
Like what I always tell my daughter, because actually my daughter now is going to school, she's taking entrepreneurial, and she's looking for what business to go into. And I always say it has to come from the heart, meaning if you don't have the heart, if you don't have the passion to do that business, then don't go into it. It has to be something that you want to do, so that in case of difficulties, you will still have the passion to do it and to continue it, and then that will be your driving force. The other thing is, of course, you have to keep your faith. You have to make sure you're doing things right. You are not stepping on other people's toes, and so you will have a clean conscience, meaning you feel that you will be free, and you don't have any bad vibes, and that would also help. And later, maybe in the future, that's something people will look at and say, oh, he's a good person, so you have to make sure that these things are with you.
You've heard it from Joseph Kimseng, owner of Chain Store. You've heard meaningful perspectives of what is good and what is true for businessmen. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for watching this show. We look forward to you viewing us again. I am Joseph Escobar, your host, saying goodbye. God bless.